Welcome to Next Gen Rentals, the go-to podcast for exploring the evolving landscape of the vacation rental ecosystem. Here, we dive deep into the world of vacation rentals, share experiences, and tackle the industry's biggest challenges. Each episode features conversations with key players in the vacation rental space, discussing everything from technology to market dynamics. Next Gen Rentals is brought to you by our main sponsor, Mr.Alfred. Mr.Alfred specializes in making vacation rental management effortless. Stay tuned to discover how they can transform your rental business. Hello, everyone. Welcome again to our podcast. We're here today with Vinayak C Mahtani, which is the founder and CEO of BNBME, one of the leading holiday home operators in Dubai and in other regions that probably he will explain us. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Oriol. I'm the co-founder. If you say founder, I'm not going to be allowed in home tonight.
Okay, so co-founder with a very special partner then.
Yes.
Just to start with, can you give a brief introduction about yourself, about your journey?
Yeah, so my name is Vinayak. I grew up in Germany in the UK. I come from an Indian entrepreneurial family. I'm very proud to say the only person I've ever worked for now works for me. So I've never been out in the corporate world or had a job before. I'm a footwear engineer by profession or by education, and I studied international business after that. But my first passion was designing women's footwear.
Nice. So you said footwear engineer.
Yeah.
That exists, like as a specialization?
Yeah, I did a degree on how to manufacture and design footwear.
Amazing. That's cool. Is that before the Nike Air? After? Okay, we'll not say it.
Hello. My hair is white, but that doesn't mean anything.
So now your life is about holiday homes. I know that you have worked in hospitality before. I believe that's part of the success you have today is because of your previous and continuing experience in hospitality. But do you want to explain us a bit about BNBME, which is what you're doing today?
Yeah, so I've been in hospitality for about 15 years now. It started off with building hotels in India and furnishing them out and then distributing products that went into making hotels more luxurious and offering guests a better stay. And that's what's translated into BNBME. We really consider ourselves a hospitality business. Everybody who works for us from an operational perspective is from a hospitality background, but also a certain pedigree in hospitality. So we do look at the luxury, Western, not so much, but more Asian style of luxury. And there's a difference between Western and Asian luxury, right? I mean, in the West, it's all about the product and where you are and what you have. And in the East, it's more about the service you offer and how you welcome the guest and how you treat the guest. And that's what we follow.
Excellent. So just to put a little bit of background to the audience, like explain us what's BNBME today before we go to the journey. But what's today? What do you do? Because a lot of, the industry of holiday homes is different, as you said, not only the service to the guest, but also which type of companies you have in Europe, you have in different places. So what exactly is what you do?
So we are a hospitality alternative accommodation provider. That's how I like to classify ourselves. Okay. We like guests to feel at home when they stay with us and have all the luxuries and facilities of a hotel. So we offer airport pickups. We have a 24-hour concierge, which acts as a reception or front office. We have a guest check-in. So when you check into a luxury hotel today, you don't check in the reception, you check in the room. With us, you check in the apartment. The guest service team is available 24 hours to answer any questions. We build itineraries for guests. So you don't only just come and book a stay with us. If you want a private charter in, we can arrange that for you. We had a guest last month who couldn't get a flight out of Dubai, and we arranged a private charter for them. If you wanna go to the Burj Khalifa and you wanna go to the Atlantis water park, we arrange all that for you. We arrange the logistics. So we're a 360 hospitality business. It's not just about the property.
Okay. So and also to add to that, so I guess your client is the property landlord, no? Someone that owns a property?
No. So we have two clients, right? Our client is the property owner, of course, because that's that's the owner that gives us the supply. But our client is also the guest because they're the ones who pay. So we use the Uber, it's like the Uber model, right? Where the owner of the car is your client as well as the guy who's going to use the transportation. So for us, the owner and the guest both are clients.
And you are present in Dubai. You have more than 100 properties currently in Dubai. And
that's right.
In any other place?
Yeah, so we're in India, we're in the UAE, and we recently launched Saudi Arabia as well.
Okay, very interesting. So, I mean, Dubai has become a worldwide capital when it comes to the general business, hospitality, focus on hospitality, leveraging probably in Emirates and post-COVID. I think we are very proud of Dubai being a center, almost the center of the world, I would say. You know? So how do you see the industry here in Dubai and you're in your 6-7 years in the industry of holiday homes, how you've seen it evolve?
So like everything in Dubai, right? I've been coming in and out of Dubai since 1998. I set up my business over here in 2005 and I've been living here since 2010. So I've seen all the ups and downs that Dubai has to offer. And Dubai is an entrepreneurial hub, which means any industry or business that catches the limelight and looks to be doing well, investment comes in very quick. And I think we've seen that with holiday homes recently, where we've seen 6,500 properties go up to 25,000 odd properties today in the span of 18 months. And that shows the beauty of Dubai, right? Because that means there's real entrepreneurs in this country. In terms of what it means for holiday homes, I study other markets across the world, and I can't point my finger on a market which is going to grow more and which is better equipped for the industry than Dubai. Like you said, we're in the center of the world. Thanks to Emirates Airlines and now Fly Dubai, we can be in any destination anywhere in the world within a few hours. I mean, you name it, and you can fly there direct.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw some graph the other day that within 4 hours flight, we have 50% of the worldwide population. Yeah. And I think 8 hours, like 90% or 80% of the worldwide population with China, India.
And it's safe, right? I mean, where in the world can you go wear all your luxury jewelry, walk around at night, midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, not worry about someone coming in, attacking you or just being nervous? I mean, nowhere.
But also this came with some negative points or not that positive points for industry. No, as you said, the supply has gone from 7,000 or 5,000 to more than 25,000. I think 27,000 last month. I saw that operators went from 400 to 600 in 1 year only. So how do you see this extreme competition in Dubai going on or impacting the business?
But that's what I mean by Dubai being an entrepreneurial hub. That happens in every industry in Dubai. And I think you're seeing the same thing in this industry. I'm not worried about it. The more supply that comes on will result in higher demand. It will mean more people will come in. I also think it's a good curve, right? Because you have a lot of people who come into the market, test it out, realize it's not easy to run a holiday home. I mean, I've had operation managers from the top hotels come in and give it a crack and not being able to do it. So it's not easy, and I think people will realize that.
Now, I remember my first revenue manager that he told me, Oriol, this is super complicated. It's 200 hotels of one room. And I think that's why the people in the hotel industry are like struggling to adapt to our industry.
Yeah, but I only hire people from the hotel industry, and I have to be honest that some of them don't get around it because mentally they don't want to. But the ones that do, they add a lot of value.
Yeah, of course. No, and it's a new industry. I mean, we cannot hire someone that has been in this industry for 20 years because it doesn't exist. So
that'll be us in 10 years.
Exactly. So and also there is Airbnb released the winter release last week, but also there is a lot of pressure of cities towards regulation, trying to manipulate a little bit the market, the supply especially. So how do you see this impacting in Dubai or not impacting in Dubai?
Well, I mean, look, Oriol, we got to know each other because there was a situation in Dubai several years ago, right, where a developer came out and tried to stop us from operating. I think we were blessed that we had the support of the Dubai government. the support of Dubai Tourism, who came out with very quick legislation supporting us. And I think they recognize that Dubai has a need for alternative accommodation. And people don't want to just come and stay in hotels because people want to come and stay for longer periods. It's not only about vacations, right? You have corporate business over here. You have transitional business, so people are coming here on contracts for 3 months. You have people moving in and out. So you had the need of the hour was to have an alternative accommodation. And I think the government recognizes that, and they supported us. And I think with that kind of support, we don't have to be worried about places like LA or New York or Santa Monica, for example, which isn't allowed any holiday homes anymore.
Yeah, I think, that's right. I mean, there is also an elephant in the room, which is that, and if anyone says the opposite, they are lying, that the long-term rental prices are quite high for us. And sometimes in some areas, in some properties, they can beat the short-term rental returns. So what's your take on that? And how do you fight against this trend that is, I believe, very, very temporary?
100%. I mean, the long-term rent, they've started to taper off now. We're seeing very slight reduction in the rents, but over the last 12 months, they've gone a little bit, I don't know what the right word would be. But I don't think investors invest for a period of 12 months. And if they do, that's not the investor we want to work with. We want to work with investors that look at a 3 to 5 year to 7 year horizon. They want capital preservation. So they want to preserve the asset. They don't want to just misuse the asset. They look at it, I'm investing $1 million today. Ideally, in 5 years, I should be able to double my money with capital appreciation and income and exit. Now, if you put your property on a long term, first of all, the law is very clear. It's very difficult to evict the tenant. It's very difficult to increase your rent. Tenants are transient, so they don't take care of your property. We did the math and we calculated that if you put a property on long term and you put a property on short term, with today market rentals, right? We take about 75% occupancy for long term. We beat that on the short term. You actually do make more money on the short term after 3 years, because when you get an apartment back after the long term, you don't rent it out the next day. It takes 4 to 6 weeks, right? And if you take that 4 to 6 weeks every year, you've lost out.
Actually, that's a very good point. And I think I always tell people, like, okay, you buy an asset that is worth, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 million dirham, and you cannot analyze the return based on a 1 year or a 2 year return. So, and also, in my opinion, what I see adding to that point is also the diversification of the portfolio. No? In the end, if you have a big portfolio of assets, of apartments, long term is betting on the Dubai market only. Whereas if you do short-term rentals, you are betting to the worldwide economy, and you're betting to the inflow of tourists from all over the world, different currencies, macro economy rather than micro economy.
Correct, but you're also betting on Dubai because after energy, oil, comes alternative energy. After alternative energy for Dubai comes hospitality, comes tourism. So you're betting on Dubai either way.
Absolutely.
Right? And I mean, if you're going to be in Dubai and you're going to believe in the Dubai story, then you have to believe in the tourism story.
Correct.
And if you believe in the tourism story, what's better than holiday homes?
I agree. So I think there is more than only the short-term profits of the long term, if I may say it like this. But I think that's important.
If I can say something, Oriol, I think that the investor who looks at it from a 12-month perspective, let them go to the long term. Because when they get burnt or when they lose over there, they're going to come back to the short term, right? And there's no stickiness in them as a client. So you got to look for other clients.
I agree. And also, we are lucky in Dubai that the regulations are very favorable for everyone, and the switching cost is not very high. So, so transparency in the end will pay off for holiday homes as well.
Correct.
Very good.
Let's take a moment to thank Mr. Alfred, our sponsor. They're not just a property management system. They're a comprehensive solution for vacation rentals, offering everything from dynamic pricing to efficient marketing. Their intuitive platform simplifies operations so you can focus on growth. Excitingly, Mr. Alfred now offers a free light version, including a channel manager with connections to over 60 OTAs, available for an unlimited number of units and users. To learn more and to start streamlining your rental business, visit mr.alfred.com today.
So now let's focus on a little bit on our audience who are small and medium operators. I mean, I think you crossed that path a while ago. But what would you tell someone that's starting, that is like crossing the 20 units mark? Where would you focus on? And I know we can focus on everything, but what would be your recommendation?
So I think you got to first understand the core, right? Why are they doing this? A lot of people entered the industry because they had friends who had apartments, or they had a real estate business, or they had easy access to 10, 20 apartments, and they thought, oh, we'll put a holiday home company together. We're over 100 properties, and we're close to 80 employees. Right? It's a very, I mean, for us, it's a very, I know there are other companies that are much leaner, but for us, it's a very labor-intensive job. My advice or comment to somebody who's got those properties, right? Running 20 is fairly easy. The minute you cross 50 and get closer to 100, it becomes a different ballgame. Yeah. And there's one word or two words that you need: personal sacrifice. You know, because at 3 o'clock in the morning, when there's an issue with a guest, no matter who your operations director is, MR doesn't want to talk to them. They want the owner of the business there. And you have to get up and go at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's happened to me several times. There's many times we don't have Christmas anymore. Busiest time of the year. What kind of example do I set my team if I say, hey guys, see you later, I'm out on Christmas vacation? So the busiest holidays of the year, I make sure I'm here on the floor. As an example to the team. And personal sacrifice. If you're ready to give that personal sacrifice, go for it, because there's no better business.
Okay, excellent. So that's very good. So you mentioned at the beginning that you are in the hospitality, that you are trying to, well, that your brand is hospitality and all this. So what do you think the guests prefer, a holiday home or vacation rental, BNBME or any other good operator, as opposed to a hotel? What do you think are the things that they're looking for?
Well, I can't talk about other operators, but we have a very high number of repeat guests. You know, we have about 30% of our bookings are direct and repeat. And when we ask our guests why they like to stay with us rather than a hotel, it's because of the personalized service we offer. You know, in a hotel, they're just a code and a check-in and a check-out and an access card. They have to wait for the lift. Nobody recognizes them. Nobody knows them. In a home, if you have somebody who's coming and staying 2 weeks and they spent, they've been there 3 times, 4 times in a year, the doorman recognizes them. They feel at home. So I think it's the personalized service and the extra mile we go in making them feel at home. Again, all of our properties are in good areas, so they have the facilities of a hotel.
Okay, so you have been talking throughout the whole chat about personal touch, people, employees, team. But I know, and our focus in next gen rentals also is technology. So what's your focus on technology? Because I know you are a technologist, and I mean, explain a little bit how do you use technology.
Well, I don't know if I'm a technologist, but I love tech. We're tech enabled, right? So our thought process is that at the back end, whatever process can be done through tech, we try to automate it. You know, like I'll give you an example. Our bookkeeping. Everybody in our company has a card. They use the card. They take a picture of the bill, and it gets uploaded in the system, and they have to put in what the expense was, and it gets automatically entered into the books. I don't have an accountant doing that bookkeeping anymore, and it reconciles with the bank. It goes to their manager for approval. If they don't approve, it gets cut from their salary. So to me, that's the tech we use, right? I like to use or automate operations which are where you don't really need to think and they're just repetitive. And I think that's what our advantage is.
Yeah, I think in other chats I've had, we classify technology in USP or differentiators and productivity. You know? So I think your differentiation can be the human touch, the customization, being close to the guest, and probably use technology for productivity in your case.
Well, we use technology very much for productivity because we believe in the luxury front-end touching. So we have the tech where they can do self-check-in and all that, but that's not what we push. To me, the USB is very simple. And I think it is the tech stack any company builds, which every company can build, but it's the utilization of that tech stack. How well do you utilize it? And that creates a moat around your business.
Yeah, and actually that's a huge challenge, in my opinion, is a big challenge in our industry because we have a very operational team.
Yep.
And sometimes you build the most beautiful technology, and you're struggling to teach it or to make it easy to use. No? So sometimes it's not only finding the right tech; it's to make it useful.
Yeah. So we invested, and I'll let you in on a little operational secret that we do. We developed a technology where we used an outside tool, and then we put our tool on top of it, where the idea was after a room is done by the housekeeping attendants, they simply take a photograph in our app, and the tech is supposed to say whether the room passes the inspection or not. So, if the mug is here and you got a cup there, the tech can pick up like, hey, that's a cup and it should be a mug.
Yeah.
It's missing. That it does well. But what the tech unfortunately can't pick up is their dust on the table. So we're now trying to figure out a way how to do that.
Or the smell.
Or the smell.
That's a huge.
That's a big one in Dubai.
That's a big one in Dubai and everywhere in the world. I mean, you cannot. And Airbnb uses that sometimes against us
all the time.
But anyway, that's another topic for another hour. But I always ask this question as well. So, if you were to choose one technology that really changed your operation in the last, let's say, couple of years post-COVID era, what would that be?
One tool that changed.
Yeah, one technology, and you cannot say AI. Yeah, one technology, I mean, maybe you explained it already, and it's these pictures or this matching the pictures and the standard and the reality. Or
I don't know if I could pick one, because our techs are so interlinked with each other, right? Like the AI identifying the room can't operate without our operational tool. Our operational tool can't operate without our PMS. Our PMS can't operate without the channel manager, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So a lot of our technology is very interlinked. Yeah. But I really like this expense one, because it's such a headache to manage expenses. When you've got 75 employees, it's a challenge. But this one's pretty cool.
And in the future, how do you see the industry going in terms of technology? Do you foresee, again, you are always looking at trends. So how do you see the industry when it comes to technology going?
So if you look at the same company as mine in North America or in Europe, right, there would be maybe 5 employees. They're very, very automated in terms of the complete process, including nobody ever meets the guests when they come in or come out. They don't have attendance, and all that gets assigned automatically and stuff. Mm-hmm. I think that's one direction, and that's to be super lean and super automated, and that works. And I think the other direction is the direction I'm going to go, which is have the human touch, have the human connection, and at the back end automate it as much as you can. But in the front end, you keep the manpower there.
And do you see Airbnb? I think is entering into more managing. They are trying to make a lot of tools for co-hosting, for connecting companies. Do you see Airbnb as a threat to our business?
I think Airbnb is rediscovering itself at the moment. It's just being an OTA doesn't work. The likes of Booking.com and Expedia have a lot more to offer. So I think they're reinventing themselves. I definitely don't think they're going to try to become a host. I think they tried it a couple of years ago. They bought a building block.
Lucky from Paris, I think.
They bought something in Paris. They also bought something in Miami, a building block, and that failed miserably. I know. Look, Marriott, who are the number one operators in the world, try to enter the vacation rental space by becoming a platform, and they haven't succeeded much either, right? So I think they have to find their niche. I think Airbnb has to see what value they're going to give us, right? Why should I give them my properties otherwise? I mean, it makes no sense.
Yeah, and you mentioned Marriott, and I think Hyatt also now is trying to enter.
Hyatt Homes, yeah.
Hyatt Homes. But also we had experience expanding to our destinations, and I know you've been in other countries. What do you think? And a lot of operators, like from Europe, struggled when they expand internationally. I mean, you look at the picture of operators worldwide, and there is no many global players.
I can't think of one.
Well, there are some, but not many successful ones. Guest Ready could be one, for example. Could be a global.
Europe, Middle East.
More than 2 countries.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's yeah, more than one country or more than one city.
Okay.
So that means it's a huge challenge. So how do you see the challenge of expanding to other destinations, countries, cities, and how you're tackling it?
So I think you have to have a common fabric, right? So our thought process is we want to cater to the guest who wants to get spoiled, who wants that luxury, who wants the space. They don't want to cook their own food, but they want a kitchen. They don't want to carry their own bags up. They don't want to live in a hotel because it's too small and compact, and they want better locations. So we have identified that as our guest. And we know that guest exists in India. We know that guest exists in the Middle East. We know that guest exists in Saudi Arabia. We know that guest exists in certain other markets. And we're really just following our guest and looking at where they are, where they travel to. And we'll go and look at property owners in those locations.
How do you manage the consistency of the quality of the operations, the quality of the operations?
That's where the tech comes in. Right? That's where the tools I talked about comes in. And I think one thing is you don't standardize. And as crazy as that sounds, everyone would probably say you have to standardize. But no, you have to change based on the country you're in. Right? So we're in India and we're in Dubai. If we kept the same standards, we would fail. In India, all of our properties have permanent employees living there, staying there all the time. In Dubai, even in our biggest villas or penthouses, we don't have people staying there full time. Right? So that's what I mean by you don't standardize. You have to adapt to what the country and what the needs are.
Okay, very good. As you said at the beginning, we met in this when one of the developers wanted to ban holiday homes, and we did a get-together, some operators in the industry. We created Next Gen Rentals a little bit to cater for that need in Dubai. No? So how do you see adding value to the industry, and where do you think are the gaps in terms of collaboration, cooperation, events, and how do you think that Next Gen Rentals can help solve these problems?
Well, I think you're doing a great job already, right? I mean, by talking to people in the industry, people who've gotten their hands dirty, this kind of an initiative to get the word out. I think you're doing a good job, and I think this is the way to do it.
Thank you. But what are the challenges you think that there is in the industry?
So what operators face?
No, this lack of cooperation. I mean, we discussed it many times, and I don't want to disclose private conversations, but I know. How do you see the collaborative environment in this market, specifically in Dubai?
I don't see it being very collaborative, and I think everybody is, for some reason, trying to save their back, and I don't understand that. I am, and you, I know you are as well, a big believer of collaboration.
And I like to talk about it because I think it's important that we explain why we believe this has to change.
Look, I think through collaboration, you support each other and you grow, right? And you gain strength. You work off each other's best practices, rather than competing with each other and having a race to the bottom. I've seen management fees go from 30%. We started at 35%, right? And I've heard that people in the market are quoting 10% or 12%. So there's a race to the bottom. I don't take part in that race to the bottom. I'm a collaborator. I say, hey guys, let's all collaborate together and say nobody goes under 20%, right? If everybody says our minimum base is 20%, I'm just saying a number. If everyone agrees that, right, and then property owners come and you don't make price the negotiation for signing a contract, you improve each other's businesses.
I think this has been our disagreement for the last couple of years.
Yes.
Because I disagree on that point, but I completely agree on the collaboration part. I think in Dubai we need to share more. In the end, we have. I mean, you are focusing on guest experience. We have other and customization. And anyway, I don't want to quote you. There are other companies focusing maybe in price, maybe in tech, even in the front end in tech. But I think there is a big battle in quality, in legality. I think we spoke about it. There is some operators that don't have license,
and operate in illegal properties.
Correct, and license themselves or license of the property, and we're discussing with DTCM to try to help them with that, and I think Airbnb is also focusing on that. So I think there is a lot of room for collaboration.
I think education is important, right? I think we need more forums in Dubai. We need more education talks from people like you, from Dubai Tourism, from the industry as a whole. It would be great to have a a vacation rental summit or an event take place over here in Dubai and create awareness amongst the people here. I mean, I'm on a chat with, and we're both on the chat, and sometimes you read the messages and you just think like, listen, this is a hospitality world. It's not about you. Right? At the end of the day, it's about the guest.
Correct.
Who's paying a lot of money to come to Dubai and rent your place.
Yeah.
I just believe you need to think of that guest.
And that's a very good point. And I think, I mean, going back a little bit before, it's because we are in between, or not in between, but we are very close to the real estate industry. Some people think that we're a real estate company, and we are not real estate. It's far from real estate. We're hospitality.
We're anything but real estate.
And that's why I believe, and I don't want to to sound very aggressive on that, but the real estate companies that try to do holiday homes,
disaster. I'm going to say it out loud. I'm going to say it out loud. I mean, there are a couple who have created separate divisions and are running it as a hospitality business, and they're doing great jobs. But the rest of this real estate companies who think that they own the company and then they're going to set up a holiday home, I mean,
with a small team, and they will fail.
But I would do, I would fail if I set up a brokerage. Just because I've got a few hundred properties behind me, I can't set up a real estate company just because I know people are buying and selling. Yeah. I don't know anything about the real estate world. Yeah. And I'm the first to admit it.
Very good. So, so another question that I always do our guests is, so you certainly are experienced in hospitality, but you also have a huge career in entrepreneurship. Where do you try to get inspiration of leadership, of entrepreneurship? Do you read? Do you listen to podcasts?
Yeah, so I'm part of several organizations. I'm part of the YPO organization. I'm part of EO. I'm part of a startup community. But the most inspiration I get is from, as a company, we hire a lot of interns, right? And I think we're on a third or fourth intern who's now graduated to a full-time employee. And it's my son who's in university now, and the interns who give me the most inspiration, because when you talk to people of that generation today, their thought process and their concept of running a business is very different to when I grew up. When I was growing up, my father, as an internship, made me sit in his office and reconcile the books. I had to go through a bank account and reconcile every expense that took place, right? And account for it. You don't do that today. My father's thought process was always EBITDA. They don't care about EBITDA today. They talk about scale. They talk about valuation. They talk about volume. They talk about different things. And that's inspiration for me.
Very nice. So if a property owner, landlord wants to work with you, what do they need to do?
Get in touch with us, www.bnbmehomes.com, or give us a call at 800-BNBME.
Very good. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you had a good time.
It was excellent. I loved it. We should do it sometime again.
Yeah, we will.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Take care. Next Gen Rentals is brought to you by our main sponsor, Mr. Alfred. Mr. Alfred specializes in making vacation rental management effortless.